Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. So, in today's episode of the SimpMe Current Event Series, I'm going to be discussing a lot of events that have transpired within the crypto industry over the past couple of days. So, as a lot of people know, the market and the economy has been getting slammed. We've got inflation, we've got war, we've got a lot of different geopolitical issues that are in turn causing the market to react the way it is. But in terms of what's going on within the crypto industry, I just wanted to discuss a major occurrence within a company called FTX. So FTX was founded by Sam Bankman-Fried, who has been a very large proponent of cryptocurrencies over the past couple of years, and he's rose to stardom and fame within the industry. He was also listed on Forbes for a lot of the work that he's done within the crypto industry, and he's made a ton of money. And Sam Bankman-Fried got his start in crypto by starting a hedge fund called Alameda Research a couple years ago. And what he did was he used derivatives and other complicated financial tactics to essentially make a lot of money for himself. And he became a billionaire. And he in turn ended up using his hedge fund to fund FTX, which became a very popular crypto exchange within the market. And FTX operates within the United States. About 5% of their revenue is generated within the United States business operations, but the majority, the other 95%, occurs offshore. And the company also happens to be based in the Bahamas. So go figure, you know what I mean? There's different offshore activities that they may be doing that would actually probably be somewhat illegal and definitely scrutinized more if they were doing these business operations within the United States. But more to come on that. So recently, there was a leak of their financial statements and their balance sheet that was posted to Twitter. There was a source that essentially put out a screenshot of their financial statements. And what it showed was that on their balance sheet, the company didn't really have as much assets as a lot of people would expect. It was reported that FTX had about $14 billion on their balance sheet. And that $14 billion, let's say about $7 billion of that were liabilities. So the other $7 of assets was essentially pegged and tied to their token. They have a token that they launched called FTT. And this token was essentially trading at about $22 per token on the market. So this caused a lot of people who were investors in FTX to become skeptical about why this is the case. Why don't they have as many assets, especially since FTX is a crypto exchange that has a lot of people's money, cash deposits, and a lot of people have been using FTX to pretty much trade cryptocurrency. So what ended up happening was the CEO of a company called Binance, his name is CZ, and Binance is a very popular exchange, but Binance does not really operate within the United States. They only operate offshore, more specifically in China. The company's based in China. And CZ was an early investor in FTX. He put in billions of dollars into the company to support them early on within the company's inception. So CZ tweeted essentially that he was troubled by this leak in the discoveries that people saw with the balance sheet from FTX. So CZ pretty much made the executive decision to say that he was going to sell the majority of his FTT tokens that he pretty much gained when he invested in the company. And as most people would expect, when someone that has a big stake and a big ownership, a lot of equity in a company decides that they're going to sell, it's going to cause a lot of other investors to react the same way. So CZ ended up selling billions of dollars worth of tokens, and the market also reacted. So a bunch of people essentially made a bank run and tried to withdraw their money at the same time from FTX's crypto exchange. As you would expect, this caused FTX to essentially drop in value. It was a very turbulent day. The CEO was essentially trying to tweet to say, oh, this is the situation that we're dealing with. He was pretty much trying to clean it up, but the damage was already done. So at this current point in time, the CEO of Binance decided that he was like, hey, listen, we can maybe make a potential deal. I'm willing to buy FTX and buy the assets and essentially help them get out of this liquidity crunch situation. Because as it currently stood, the company didn't have enough assets on hand to essentially withdraw and allow the investors to get their money when they were trying to withdraw all their capital from FTX. And essentially, they ended up sending over a letter of intent to acquire FTX. This is CZ, the CEO of Binance, and they said that they were going to do diligence over the next couple of days and make a final decision. So it recently came out today, about a few days later, that CZ, as the CEO of Binance, is no longer going to acquire FTX. He's going to walk away from the deal. It's unclear what information they discovered when they did this due diligence, but it doesn't seem like it's a good situation for FTX, and it's looking like this could be the end for the firm. Sam Bankman-Fried is currently on the hot seat. There's a lot of people that, are pretty much looking at the company as maybe executing some sort of fraudulent activities, because a lot of the people's money that were supposed to be held in certain reserves is no longer there, and a lot of people are going to be stuck losing a lot of money. This includes VC companies that invested in FTX, other hedge funds, retail investors, etc. So time will really tell how this situation works out, but this is definitely going to lead to a lot more scrutiny on the cryptocurrency industry in general. A lot of regulators within Washington, D.C. have essentially been trying to figure out how crypto should be regulated and what rules and regulations need to be put in place in order for crypto to be a legitimate investment option for the retail investors. But it definitely shows, through this situation with FTX, that there was some sort of possible mishandling of the funds, and this isn't a really good look for the crypto industry as a whole. So we'll see how this ends up shaping out over the next couple weeks, but it's definitely not looking too well for Sam Bankman-Fried, who lost a large majority of his net worth. He was worth about $16 billion, and now he's worth less than $1 billion in one day. And the drop is continuing to happen. So time will tell what occurs, but there are a lot of changes within the cryptocurrency industry that a lot of people knew would probably happen. But I don't think anybody anticipated a company like FTX to crumble as quickly as it did. So I hope you all found this episode of the SimpMe Current Event Series interesting, and be sure to stay tuned for more content at www.simpme.com. Thanks.